got me restless.
I'm gone.
Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck.
Give me that.
To the trends. See a lead, be the band.
Good afternoon. We back with another episode of Corner to Copa. We are just a few days away from the trade deadline. There's been a little bit of action around the league, but we haven't seen our first big splash, really. A lot of rumors obviously going on right now. And I believe the official trade deadline is 8-3, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the Tigers are coming off a tough series against a Baltimore Orioles team that, you know, we should have at least taken 2 of 3. We blew a major lead in the tail end of yesterday's game with Tarik Skubal pitching and possibly his last start in a Tiger uniform. Tough to say at this point what direction they go in, but yeah, we'll just have to see. But in the spirit of the trade deadline, I wanted to give you guys a list of a couple guys that could be possible trade candidates. Now, I will preface this. Only one of them is healthy right now, which, you know, makes it difficult to think that they could possibly be moved, because I don't know how often guys that are on a 60-day IL get traded, but they very well could be guys that are better candidates to get moved in the winter time. But for one reason or another, I feel like that these are guys that could be on the move. We'll start with Jace Young. Jace Young is a third baseman. I think he's a second base by trade, and he was moved to third base, and he worked out at first base in the springtime this past year. And, you know, he's only 25 years old, and he's actually Scott Harris's first ever draft pick as a president of baseball operations. He was drafted 12th overall in the first round. He made his debut at the age of 22, 23, the year that we sold and managed to get into the playoffs. Went on that hot run and make the playoffs. Jace Young was the starting third baseman that year. He played okay. It was his first year playing third base, but hitting-wise, he struggled. He took his walks, but he hit for zero power. To this day, in a combination of, I don't know if he's been up this year. I think he played this year a tiny bit, but he has yet to hit a home run at the major league level. He's a guy that, first of all, he's currently on the 40-man roster, which is kind of crazy to think about, because he's been surpassed by, you know, the likes of Cole Keith, Hyu Lee, you know, all these guys ahead of him that are, you know, in better positions to play third base in Detroit, and somehow he's on the 40-man roster. So, but yeah, he's, you know, like I said, he's a former first-round pick, and he's got good power numbers at the minor league level. I think his best year was in 2023 between Lakeland and Erie. He hit 28 home runs. So he's still got some decent upside. I just don't think he has a long future in Detroit, to be honest. I would much rather see, on a daily basis, I would much rather see Hyu Lee. I would much rather see Max Anderson get an opportunity. I just don't see where he fits in. He's a lefty. We tend to have a lot of lefties. The righties are a little bit more valuable at this point. So, you know, I think that he could be a nice, once again, he's out of the three names I'm mentioning, he's the one guy that's actually healthy. So, yeah, I mean, if there's a team out there that thinks that they could possibly still, you know, pull out some of that ceiling or some of that upside, he might be a good candidate, because he is a former first round pick. But you know, so far this year, 16 home runs at the AAA level, not bad. 52 RBIs, a 352 on base percentage, and 785 OPS. So he's having a solid year, but I don't think he's been called up at all this year. And you know, we've had plenty of injuries to where he could have, got some run. I mean, they even called up Gage Workman. Let's see. So he got 8 plate appearances this past year. He walked twice, 1 hit. So 1 for 6. And yeah. So despite all the injuries, he really hasn't got a lot of looks at the major league level this year. And I just don't see any room. I don't see any room for him on the roster at this current point. But he is on a 40-man roster. He's under team control for quite a while. So, they don't necessarily have to make any, erratic decisions at this point. But I am kind of out on him. Troy, my boy in the building, Clark is here. Absolutely. We're definitely going to talk about it because the next two candidates are outfielders. Wenzel Perez. He's 26 years old. He's a converted infielder. He became an outfielder. And in his parts of 3 seasons of work, he's shown the potential to be a 5-tool player. He got called up early in the season a couple of years ago, and he was pretty good. He's a switch hitting outfielder. He gives you above average defense, and he can play any position in the outfield. He can play the corner positions. He can play in center field. He's got raw power. He's got contact ability and speed. So he's giving you a lot of the tools that we've needed, to be honest. In our system, switch hitters are very valuable. No, I agree. And that's probably a reason why he will continue to get looks, although injuries have really hurt him. The last 2 seasons, including this one, freak accident this time around. He was stretching using a rubber band and broke a bone in his face. And last year, he spent a stint on the 60-day IL. I don't know what it is about our outfielders, this year included, but we've dealt with a lot of injuries. The next guy we're going to talk about included. But the reason why Max Clark is here right now is because Matt Vierling, pulled his groin yesterday. But outside of that, we've had injuries to Javi Baez. Baez was gone for a really long time. Perez, and this next guy. But yeah, as far as Wenzel Perez, there's 2 more years of team control with him. And he's 26 years old, so he's getting up there. But some of these outfielders, outfielder prospects have emerged. Ben Maljury, and we're gonna get an opportunity to check out Max Clark real soon. Who else? I don't know. Obviously, Riley Green's here. Kerry Carpenter, unless he gets traded, he's another guy that is kind of a staple in our outfield. So I think that because Wenzel Perez does have some decent experience, he's older, he's more of a finished product, he's a switch hitter, he can play any position in the outfield. I think that he is an appealing piece to a team that is looking to maybe get a little younger, a little bit more versatile. It's just the injuries that they would err on the caution of. And like I said, I don't know if any of these guys could possibly get traded during, while they're, on the 60-day IL. Why trade for Wenzel Perez? Why not wait until the winter meetings pop up? So yeah. Let's talk about last but not least, speaking of injuries, Parker Meadows, another guy that he's 26 years old. He's a former 2nd-round pick, and he's shown flashes over the last couple of years, just like the other guys. But he's another guy that has a lot of tools, great defensive player, plays a fine center field. He's a lefty, but he's got a lot of speed as well. Another thing that the Tigers have not had all season. He's got great range in the outfield, top-notch sprint speed, and he's had some big hits. I mean, he had a home run in the Houston Astros series. He's had some big hits against the A's when we were making that push. He's a solid player when he's healthy, and he showed some pretty decent promise early in this season, but had that collision with Riley Green, and now he's out for the foreseeable future. He hasn't even begun rehab yet. It's been that serious. I think he broke his, what did he do? I think he hurt his shoulder. It was a pretty serious injury. Pretty scary injury, in fact. I mean, it really could have hurt Riley Green, but Parker Meadows took the brunt of that. So, but yeah, outside of that, for him, the clock's ticking on him for no other reason than now you got Max Clark that could be manning center field for the foreseeable future, given he, pans out and plays well out the gate. But it kind of makes him expendable. We don't have a ton of center fielders in our system, which kind of makes him somebody that we probably should hold on to. But I think that he's another guy you throw in, you throw in with some other guys, some other prospects, and a team might bite on that, because that's what we need right now. We need production in the outfield, most notably the corner outfield. So, that Parker Meadows could be somebody that they are high on, because he has shown that he has power, he has range in the outfield, he has speed, he kind of has everything you want in a center fielder except for the durability. That's what's really hurt him. He reaches arbitration in 2027, and he's under team control until 2030. So once again, another guy that we're not forced to move. We still have a lot of time with him, but he is already 26 years old, and his predecessor is already knocking on his door. I mean, he's at the door. He's on the welcome mat right now. So, but yeah, who knows? I just hate that they're hurt right now, because it makes them that much less appealing. But I just wanted to come on here and speak on these guys. I mean, I really think that, Jace Young is the best candidate to get moved. I really don't see where he fits. I mean, you got Torkelson at first base. Of course, Torkelson's not necessarily etched in stone. You got Hyu Lee, who's at second base, moving forward. And as far as third base is concerned, Cole Keith is probably your everyday third baseman for the foreseeable future. And beyond that, you got, Hyu Lee, who's could possibly be a serviceable backup third baseman. And then you got Max Anderson as well, another guy that's been mashing at the AAA level, that probably should be here right now. But I don't know. Probably defensive. Probably the defensive limitations is just what's keeping him. That's got to be the only thing. That's why you got to hold on to a Zach McKinstry. And that's why a Javi Baez will always have a job, because he can play any position. So, that's that. Subscribe to the channel. Bleacher Speakers is nearly to 500 subscribers, but also subscribe to Corner to Copa. It's about to heat up at the trade deadline, and we'll be breaking everything down. Any minute now, we could start selling off Casey Mize, Gleyber Torres, Tarek Skubal. It looks like the youth movement is upon us. We already got, Valencia, McGonigal, Clark, Maljury. This team has got young once again, but we still got some vets in there. Obviously, you got your Riley Greens, you got your Kerry Carpenters, you got some vets as well. But, last year we sold off a lot of guys. I mean, 2 years ago we sold off Mark Canha, Gio Urshela. Javi went on the IL. Carson Kelly. We sold off a lot of different players, brought up our young guys, and they flourished. Trey Sweeney, I know you guys probably forgot about Trey Sweeney, but he was a part of that youth movement. Jace Young was a part of the youth movement. A lot of these guys were, and we continue to win. We took off after that. So who knows? I'm patiently waiting for something to happen. It's still yet to be seen what Skylar Harris is going to do. I just don't know. He needs to do something though. He can't stay put. He's got to buy, or he's got to start selling off some of these big names for prospects. So you know, we'll see what the young guys can do. Maybe the young guys will continue to keep us afloat, but we got to get hot in a hurry. The games that the 2 games we lost to the Royals, and then the 2 games we lost to Baltimore, who was directly ahead of us in the wild card standing. Those were losses that we could ill afford to take, but we did. So we'll see what happens. I think the Tigers got a day off, and they head to Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. So who got moved for the Max Clark? I don't think they have a MSU Detroit fan asked who got moved for the Max Clark call-up. I don't think they've announced it yet. Let's see here. I think it's going to be James Outman, but that has not been announced, and they probably don't have to announce it because we have a day off. It says ball correspondents aren't yet clear. Clark figures to get an opportunity to step in as the everyday center fielder in Detroit. The Tigers have been without Parker Meadows for most of the season. Oh man. Leading them to a mix and match with Javi Baez, Perez, Bierling, and Outman. So I think it's going to be Outman. He hasn't really done very much. He's pretty much just been a defensive player / pinch runner, and that's just not worth a 40. That's not worth a 40-man roster. I think maybe you could probably DFA somebody in AAA. To open up a spot, but at any rate, somebody's got to be sent back down. He said, did you see the stat with I cringe every time I watch it. It's been so sad. And, I'll be the first one to say, I thought the bullpen was in really, really good hands. I thought we essentially had 3 high leverage relievers at the back end of our bullpen. I mean, people forget Kenley Jansen had a really good year last year. But yeah, we had Kenley. You came into the year with Kenley Jansen, Finnegan, who didn't allow a run for his first 20 outings last year. We had Will Vest, who was our closer going into the year. And then, of course, you still had guys like you still had guys like Tyler Holden. I mean, Tyler Holden, for all intents and purposes, is a pretty good reliever as well. So, it's been just really bad. And I think we all can play the what if game. If we had, converted half of those saves, where would we be looking right now? So very unfortunate. The starting pitching has been strong for us, though. He said, you remember that game last year when Green hit 2 9-inning home runs against the Angels? I definitely was watching it, but Oh yeah, we blew Kenley up. Yeah, we did. It was on the mound. Yeah, that was, from what I heard, that was like one of his few really bad outings. Which is funny that we went out and got him after that. But from what I heard, he got blew up pretty bad in that game, but really didn't have too many other bad outings for the rest of the season. So yeah, very shitty. But yeah, I wanted to come on and just talk trades, just talk trade candidates. We've talked a little bit about we've talked a little bit about guys that I would like for us to go after. But these are guys that, could be dangled out there. Essentially when they're healthy, they'll be a little bit more appealing, because who wants to trade for guys that are going to sit on the IL for the rest of the year? I don't think anybody does that. Jansen had that 3-game stretch where he allowed walk-offs. Yeah, that was awful. That blow in Cincinnati was the worst because it mirrored yesterday's loss to Baltimore. Yeah, the one against the Braves was pretty bad too. That home run that Olsen hit to straightaway center field. I mean, when he misses his spot, I mean they make him pay. They really do. But yeah, we'll be back as soon as we get some news, some Tiger news, one way or another. We will definitely be reporting on that. MLB trade deadline, August 3rd, Monday. So there should be some action over the weekend, I would think. I just accept a team to show up, a different team to show up in Sacramento. Oh, it's Sacramento first. Oh, yeah. That's another series that we need to sweep. There's just no way around it. He said, I'm really going to hate these next few games. West Coast games. Yeah, going to be late. Definitely going to be late games. So, but all right, I'm going to get up out of here. Subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned. We definitely got a show on Sunday. And the fireworks should definitely be rolling by then. So stay tuned. Hold on. Oakland, Seattle, and San Francisco. Wow. Gonna be away from Detroit for quite some time. That's crazy. I'm out.
Get your lick back. If an